Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barry and today you join me in my house because, as I'm sure you're well aware, a little thing called the coronavirus has really taken over the world, and as a result South Africa is in a 21-day lockdown, of which 7 days has elapsed, so 2 more weeks to go. But I thought I'd bring you a sort of different kind of content, seeing that I'm literally not allowed to leave the precinct of my garden. I thought I'd take you through the top 10 best supercars. Not necessarily the best, but my favorite supercars that I've had the pleasure and honor of actually going in, and sort of give you the story about how I actually went in these cars, because some of them happened pretty spontaneously, and it's quite, which makes it even more of a special event. So here we go, the top 10 best supercars that I have been in. So, kicking off with the first car, which is none other than the Lamborghini Gallardo Performante. Now, for me, I wanted to kick off the video with this one because I think this is the most memorable supercar ride that I have actually had the pleasure of experiencing. It was completely unexpected. I had no idea that it was going to happen. Plus, it was the first supercar that I ever went in back in 2013. Can you believe it? Almost 7 years ago now. So basically what happened, it was the first time I actually visited Johannesburg, because at the time I was living in Gauteng, and I went to the dealership, and my parents asked one of the people at the old Lamborghini dealerships, you know, is there any possibility that they may be able to take me for a ride? And the salesman said, you know what, let me quickly go and check. We waited a couple of minutes, looked at a few cars in the showroom. Lo and behold, another salesman came just after that with the keys to the Gallardo Performante, and to this day I'm still very good friends with the very person who took me in that car. So here we go, my first ever supercar that I went in, the Lamborghini Gallardo Performante LP 570-4. Right, so the next car on my list, and I also want to make it clear, there's no specific order to this list, it's just what I felt like, you know, no specific order. But anyways, the next car that is on my list is the McLaren MP4-12C. Now this was back in 2016, and if you go down my channel, you will actually find the actual video of this ride. Was the first time I actually went in a McLaren. Of course, the new McLaren automotive had been established in 2011, but it's taken 5 years for me to actually experience the car. So in 2016, a friend of my dad very kindly offered to take me for a ride in the car. He was living very near to where I was living at the time, in the beautiful KZN Midlands. And yeah, the reason I think I put it at number 2 is it blew my mind, because at that point I'd already been in the Ferrari 458 a few years prior to that, as well as the Lamborghini Huracan. And for me, I really felt like McLaren was faster than the Huracan, even though the Huracan had way more power. Not way more, about 20 more horsepower. For me, it was a special experience, because it's the first time I ever went in a McLaren. And fun fact, it was actually the first customer McLaren MP4-12C in South Africa, so that made it a little bit extra special. So here we go, the McLaren MP4-12C. Don't think you'll ever get tired of that. Right, now moving on to number 3 on my top 10 supercars list is definitely one of my favorites. It is my favorite car, and there are not many people who get to say they've been in their dream car. Of course, it's the Lamborghini Aventador Superveloce Roadster. One of only 2 SV Roadsters in the country, 4 SVs in total, and one of only, I think, 600 or 500 in the world. So needless to say, it was an absolutely very special experience, something that I never thought I'd be able to do. And yeah, I mean, leading up, I'm very lucky that I actually know the owner, and he said, you know what, got something I need to have done on the car in terms of adding a few more details on the wrap, because it is actually a matte black car, but the owner decided to wrap it into a blue, and he had 1 or 2 more alterations to the car that he wanted to do. So he's like, you want to come with me to the place? And of course I said yes. Who would not want to go in the SV Roadster? And for me, it's the most theatrical car. It's got so much presence, it's got so much drama to it, and in terms of experience, I've never been in a car that first of all draws the attention, because in my experience no other car draws attention as much as an Aventador, and just the overall butterflies they gave me, no other car has managed to do. So number 3 on the list is the Lamborghini Aventador SV Roadster.
Nothing beats that engine. Nothing beats that engine.
Now heading to number 4 on the list. I put this one after the Aventador SV because to me it was such a close, like in terms of experience, they were very close to each other. But number 4 is the Ferrari F12 TDF. Now, if I didn't think I'd be able to go in the SV Roadster, I never thought I'd be able to go in the F12 TDF. This was back in 2018, so about 2 years ago now. Basically how it happened, I messaged the owner. I was like, hey listen, I live about 2.5 hours, 2 hours away from where the collection is based. Like, can I maybe come and have a look at your collection? He's like, yeah sure, come through. And on the day, he very kindly offered to take me out in the F12 TDF. I had a choice between the F12 TDF and the 599 GTO, but for me it had to be the F12 TDF. So yeah, and in terms of scaring, a scary experience, the F12 TDF was just absolutely next level. I've never been in a car that pulls the way that car pulls before, and just the brutality of it all, and this purpose-built nature of the car, it was just next level, and it's an experience I will never ever forget. And hopefully once the coronavirus has calmed down, everything goes back normal, I will be going back to the owner for to sample some of his other toys that he has. So here we go, number 4 is the Ferrari F12 TDF. There we go.
Wow, I've
today on my top 10 list of the best supercars I've been in, and at number 5, it's the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, the flagship car at this point for the Aston Martin range. 5.2 litre V12 pushing out 710 horsepower and a monumental 900 Newton meters of torque. Now, I really like the look of the DBS Superleggera. I think it's a phenomenally beautiful car, but I had no idea just how powerful the car actually is. 900 Newton meters of torque. Trust me, when you put that thing into third gear and you floor the throttle, there are very, very few cars that offer the acceleration that the DBS Superleggera does. And I was very lucky. It was last year, 2019, where Aston Martin South Africa kindly invited me to go for a press drive because I'm not old enough to be insured on the car yet. So I went shotgun and we went all the way to Hartbeespoort Dam, which is not too far out of Johannesburg, where I basically spent a whole day with the DBS Superleggera, which was another pinch me moment. I literally cannot believe that like Aston Martin would invite me to go and sample one of their cars, but also definitely a memorable drive, and something that I hope I get to experience again. So at number 5 on my top 10 list, it's the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. So at number 6, it's also a very, very memorable car. None other than the Ferrari 458 Speciale. Now, I should say that the Speciale was... I've never felt the way I felt in a car before, since the day that I went in the 458 Speciale, because prior to that, in 2014, I had the pleasure of experiencing my first Ferrari, which was a 458 Italia. 2018, I believe, no, 2019, it was last year as well, I went in the 458 Speciale, and the difference between the two cars is night and day. And it seems a cliche to say this, but it is such a special experience. The moment you get in the car and the moment you actually drive away, you can just feel that, you know, that it's stiff, the ride is hard, but in a very nice way. It's so difficult to describe with these cars. You have to be able to experience them in person to actually grasp how they actually make you feel. It's difficult to put it into words, but it was actually the same day I went in the Aventador SV Roadster. The owner also has the 458 Speciale and recently bought a Pista, so hopefully we'll be going on that soon, fingers crossed. But 458 Speciale, in terms of just making you feel special, it's something I've never experienced in any other car before or since. So at number 6 on my list, it's the Ferrari 458 Speciale. To number 7, we're going to move over the border from Italy into Germany, because at number 7 it is the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, the 991.2 variant. Now, at the end of last year, I was going to Cape Town. I went to the Western Cape, and I am very lucky that I know a friend of mine who has the GT3 RS, GT2 RS, a 458 Speciale, a 720S, as well as a Ferrari F12. And I went in 3 of his cars, but they'll be making their appearance on the list shortly. But the GT3 RS, this one is a bit not stock, shall we say. It had a RS speed design exhaust, which is basically a straight pipe. There's almost nothing that prevents all of that noise from the 4-liter flat six engine escaping from those 2 double exhaust pipes at the back. And where better to go than the Franschhoek Pass to experience a Porsche 911, which, you know, prior to that I've actually never been in a Porsche before, which it's something I want to rectify as soon as possible. And you know, for my first Porsche to be in a 911 GT3 RS, I definitely wasn't complaining, and the sound that it made was absolutely demonic. It is so much louder, and unfortunately the camera just doesn't bring across the amazingness of the sound. It's absolutely phenomenal. So here we go at number 7 on my list. It's the Porsche 911 GT3 RS 991.2. So now we're at number 8 on my top 10 list of the best supercars that I've been in, and the next one is the McLaren 720S. Now I've been in the McLaren 720S 2 times, and it was actually the 3rd McLaren that I've been in. 720S though, I think it was 2000, it was last year, I think it was September. The Daytona Group had a track day at the Zwartkops Raceway, and I asked one of the owners of a 800 horsepower McLaren 720S if I could maybe ride shotgun with him, and he's like, sure, of course, hop in. And so we went, and yeah, if anything could beat a DBS Superleggera, it's definitely a 720S, especially an 800 horsepower 720S, because the way that that car accelerated, it's like nothing I've ever experienced before. And then of course I went in my friend Rosh Tafosi's 720S, but the one that I'm going to be showing you was at the Daytona track day, because the other 720S I went in, we only did sort of exhaust, put my GoPro behind the car to catch the flames of the exhaust. So to get in-car view, I decided to rather go with the one I went in Daytona. So at number 8 is the McLaren 720S. Alright, so we almost finished with the top 10 best supercars that I've been in list, but the next one is also a Lamborghini, and it is the Aventador S. Now, as I've said previously, the Aventador is my favorite supercar of all time. It's just, you know, I don't care that it has a single clutch. I don't care that it's impractical. I don't care that it's whatever. For me, it's the definition of what a supercar is. If you think about it, it's actually the most affordable mid-engine V12 that you can find, because all the mid-engine V12s mostly are very expensive, very limited edition, you know, LaFerrari, Pagani Huayra, you know, that class of car. So for me, the Aventador is just the ultimate in what a supercar can be. And what makes this a special moment and why I decided to put it on this list is it was the first time I went in an Aventador. Since the car came out in 2011, I've been dying to go in an Aventador, and I honestly didn't think it would happen. But in 2017, back at the old Lamborghini dealership, I was very lucky, fortunate to be able to be taken out in an Aventador S. And it's like I didn't put the piece on camera, but I honestly started getting emotional, because to me it was literally a dream come true to be able to go in an Aventador, waiting 6 years for it, and eventually it came. And so yeah, I'm just gonna play the video. Number 9, it's the Aventador S.
That is quite something. My word. Something also. Yo, brakes.
And the last car to feature on my top 10 best supercar list is also a Porsche, but this time adding some twin turbos, and let's call it the 911 GT2 RS. So 700 horsepower, 3.8 litre. The 991 GT2 RS is also a phenomenally powerful car. Oddly enough, I thought the GT3 RS would be the more comfortable one, the one that would feel less purpose-built as such, but for me, the GT2 RS was a lot less stiffer than the GT3 RS. But basically that comes down to the suspension won't be able to cope with the power if the suspension was as tight as it is in the GT3 RS, because GT3 RS has around 550 brake horsepower. I'm not entirely sure, but the GT2 RS has 700 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 2.9 seconds. And once again, I was lucky enough to go out in the fantastic roads surrounding Franschhoek in the Western Cape with my friend Rosh Tafosi. So at number 10, it is the Porsche 911 991 GT2 RS.
Lively.
but that is it. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I mean, all the videos are on my channel, so if you want to go and have a look, feel free to scroll down and go and find some of the videos, or just tap in the search bar. But let me know in the comments below, which was your favorite car and which one would you like to go in. I'll be honest, I'm still very humbled and grateful and in disbelief almost that I actually am able to experience all these cars. I know there's people who, you know, it's literally their dream to be able to do so, and I feel very honored to be able to live that dream, even though I can't drive them quite yet. Well, I can, but you know, insurance is an issue, should I rather say. But a massive big thank you to every single owner and every single dealership that's given me the opportunity to experience all these cars. But until then, please stay safe, practice social distancing. It's not necessarily about you, but the other person that might be able to contract this virus. So until then, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and share if you enjoyed the video. Until next time, it's a bye from me. Ciao.